Hi, my name is Selema Mabena Masekela. I'll say it for you one more time. Selema Mabena Masekela. And you are listening to the What Shapes Us podcast. Bro, thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited.
You are literally...
I'm very excited.
You are literally my premier guest in the second return of the What Shapes Us podcast.
Love it. I'm very honored.
I'm
grateful to be here.
You were the first person I called.
Yeah, you were. You're like, what are you doing?
And you were the first person to say yes.
Yeah, I love it.
And now sitting here.
Always got time for you.
Nah, man, it's
I got
really
questions. I got questions. Yeah, we talked about how old you are. I need some knowledge.
We'll make it about the thing about this podcast, or what I like to do in general, is to sit and exchange.
Yeah.
And have conversation. So yeah. It's funny. I discovered you in 2020 via Instagram.
Yeah.
Where I really do feel that because of what we were in, not just in COVID, but the subplot, which ended up being the greatest, maybe modern day racial conversation in America.
Yeah, for sure.
Via George Floyd, the algorithm really and the work that I was doing in talking about the spaces that I'm in surfing and snowboarding and how we need to get our shit together. For some reason, the algorithm was like, all right, I'm going to start showing you all the folks that are breaking trail, breaking ground in niche spaces where traditionally we don't see Black, brown, or disenfranchised people. And that's how I discovered you. I remember the first time that you came up unsuggested, and I was like, wait, what?
It was all such perfect timing too.
Yeah.
It was incredibly perfect timing because I had just stopped chasing the idea of pro because I wanted to speak my truth. And so it almost felt like it was something that you couldn't do together. And so I had spent a year on my own, and then I had started my own team. I wanted to talk my shit. I wanted to speak to cycling and the opportunities that have cycling that would be relatable to people that I come from. And so it was just perfect timing.
Back that up a little bit. Where were you? What were you in before that? If you described your journey in cycling before deciding to found Legion, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
And making the transition from road racing into Criterium racing, racing, which we'll get into. Talk to me a little bit about that journey.
So I had started cycling in LA, and Criteriums are the primary form of racing in America. So we primarily do Criteriums. There are more Criteriums in America than road races, stage races, time trials. Right.
And Criterium for the general population audience is basically, tell me if I'm wrong, Formula One.
Yeah.
On bicycles.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
It's short form. So basically, if you take a stage of the Tour de France and you compress one of the sprinting days to the last 40 miles, that's what it is. So it's all the intenseness of racing without the distance, which makes it a bit more exciting, and it lives on a circuit.
Right.
So you see it comes around and around. It's the same corners every lap. So you have a better feel for the course. So it allows you to use the course in your favor. So that's why I love it, because it's a moving chess game. It's basically you're trying to position yourself to accomplish your goals, and it's against 120, 30 people. And you got to do that on this course where you know what's coming next. It's not like you're on a road race going from point to point and there's a roundabout here and then there's an island here. No, it's you know exactly what's coming. So it allows you to basically preset what you're going to do next.
Right. And you do that and there's also a team component within that.
Yeah. So it's 6 people on a team. And the 6 people on a team, there's typically anywhere from 15 to 20 teams in a race.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, so imagine it's like you and your 6 guys versus 124 people.
All I knew was traditional road racing from watching Tour de France, etc. And so when I saw one of the first videos that I saw, it was this dope POV style intensity GoPro on your bike, on your helmet cam, and shit talking between riders and bumping, and I was like, this is amazing. And there's a bunch of black dudes that are killing it.
Which all may or may not be related to me.
Yes, today I am a fan and I am curious, and I immediately followed and then just fell in love with it.
Amazing. I had so I started racing in Los Angeles. Fell in love with Criterium racing. I had done track. I had done road racing. Road racing was the primary goal. I wanted to go to I never really wanted to do the Tour de France. Even when I first started, it felt like it was too hard. But I wanted to do like the World Championships, Paris-Roubaix. There's these iconic races that live in Europe that I wanted to do really bad. Milan-San Remo, a race that I wanted to win. I wanted to be Olympic champion in the road race, which is, now that I know better, it's very, very, very hard feat. Congratulations.
I would like to apologize for those goals that I set for myself.
No, it's just like you understand the inner workings of it and how it all goes. And like, Olympics is like super particular because it's not a normal setup. So you don't have a normal size team. There's not a normal size field. There was 90 people in the Olympic Games when typically like a race like the Tour has like 180. You know what I mean? So it's just different dynamics. But started racing. I got good really fast thanks to the help of a mentor and older brother figure, Rasam Bahadi. He was racing I think he was the only black pro when I started getting decent. Went over to Europe, lived in Belgium for a little bit. Yeah, dude. I went from LA, and this is at like 19. Yeah. This is 18 turning 19, so I'm 18 years old.
And contextualize LA, because LA is a very diverse place. But what was your LA that you grew up in?
My LA was bullet holes in my street sign, gang culture around me. I went to Crenshaw High School, so it was like if you weren't playing sport, you were like in a gang or getting caught in a gang, or you were square. You know what I mean? So it was like pick your poison. If you're square, like maybe you're getting picked on, maybe you're getting bullied. If you're a gangster, you're like in putting yourself in like a situation where it's like you could just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, where I grew up, you could just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But it's literally a concrete jungle. Like I grew up from a place called, like close to a place called the jungle. I had to ride past this place every day as a dude that was associated with the blues. And I'm riding through the reds and I'm like, I'm not gonna get recognized in this Lycra. I'll be fine.
You like the Lycra was like a weird neutralizer.
It was
because everybody was like,
neutralizer.
This
like,
dude is not a fan.
Just like this dude don't want no problems.
This dude that's riding through here in spandex, is not interested in this smoke.
Surprisingly, it was love from everybody. It was just love. It was like, do you?
Right.
Bet. And the more they learned about it, the more excited and supportive they got on any side of it. Like, no matter who it was. It was tight, dude.
Yeah, there's something about that. When we see each other doing a thing that we did not know is supposed to be for us and doing it at a high level.
It's immediate.
How the bullshit that's basically constructed for us to be at each other dissolves. And it's like,
you are hope.
Yeah.
You become hope. You become a beacon. It was crazy. And it was immediate. It was sick, dude.
You didn't know that was coming, though.
No, not at all.
You had to take the chance to find out that
I was trying to build a relationship with my dad, actually. Like, I had played basketball and football growing up. And I didn't really have a great relationship with my dad, like as far as like communication and talking. I didn't know who my dad was, but my parents are Belizean. So when they came from
Shout out to Belize.
Yeah.
Which they tell me has the most beautiful ocean. Like they're like, if you go to Belize and go swim under that water.
Dude, you got to go to the reef. The reef is
some of the best
gorgeous
scuba diving, free diving in the world.
There's a one of the islands you can go to, and after I won this race in Belize called Cross Country, we went there to celebrate. And I remember waking up in the morning because we were on the first ferry out. and the sun was rising, and I couldn't take a photo nice enough to like to show to really contextualize how beautiful it was. It was incredible.
So your parents came from Belize, the most beautiful place ever, to South Central Los Angeles.
South Central LA, and it was complete
American
shift.
dreaming.
American dreaming. I mean, I feel like I'm the embodiment of their American dream, right? And so it worked.
Did your dad ride bikes?
My dad did ride bikes. So this is the whole story. My dad was a runner and then got into cycling because the girls liked cycling in Belize. So he switched from running to cycling and he fell in love with it. See, kind of same thing you're going through. And then we have this, it's a true story. It's a true story. There's a photo of my dad. This man has a jerry curl. I said, you was really trying. Wow. I said, you were really trying. I said, I didn't even know those products got down to Belize, bro. How'd you...
Wow.
Just destroying pillow cases, bro. Destroying pillows. And so he had switched over and he had fell in love with this race. There's a racing car in Belize called cross country. It's massive. It's 144 miles. The whole country comes out for it. And if a Belizean doesn't win it, the whole country is mad. Everybody. And so my dad fell in love with that race. He probably did it 30 times. He never won it. I did it when I was a kid, didn't win it. But the first time I did it as an elite, I was fourth. And it's better than my dad had ever done. So it was like that was the bridge for me and my father.
To find
common ground and connection. So I started riding when I was 13. And that was like leaving football behind, and it was just to have like this connection with my dad. And then I wasn't good at it. And I had been good at everything. When I really applied myself in school, I was great at school. I was a decent artist. I felt like I wanted to be an animator for a point, then I wanted to be a designer. So I was like heavy into that, and I was good at that. And I was good at basketball, good role player, good at football, great receiver.
So these things came naturally.
Yeah, those came real naturally.
You applied yourself, but you didn't have to apply yourself all the way.
No. Yeah, it was very much like, how mad am I? Who's like, how annoyed am I of the competition? And like I could adjust based off of that. And I got into cycling. It was terrible, dude. Worse yet, there was this kid named Alex Garcia that was 4 foot tall and was kicking everybody's ass. And I kid you not, this kid had to be like 4'6", 80 pounds. And he's riding with my dad. And like I could barely even like ride the bike at this. I'm like, I could ride a bike, but I'm like figuring out how to clip in. You know what I'm talking, yo. Side note, real quick. We do a ride at Red Bull. Selema has never clipped into a bike. My daddy is there. My daddy sees the fact that Selema has never clipped into a bike. He said he gonna fall. As soon as he says that, Selema does a good old roll. He just does the
I was so excited to go on that ride, and this is actually maybe 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It was my first time going on.
Yeah.
Because you had been inviting me to go bike ride for a while.
Yeah.
Sending me DMs being like, yo, when you gonna come ride? When you come ride? And my thing was like, I'm a fan of what you do. Let me cheer. Why?
Stop trying to pull me in.
Stop trying to pull me
into your thing. That's your thing.
And then you invited me to this ride where
I gave him no excuses.
You gave me notice, and I was like, damn, I'm going to be home that Saturday.
No excuses.
Let me go.
I said, I got a bike for you. I got shoes. I got helmets.
That was the other thing. You're like, I got all the stuff. Just show up. And I went there really scared. And I put on the gear.
Looking fuego. I had him looking right.
This man, Justin Williams, has me out here. Fully kitted out. Comfortable. Exposed.
Decked.
Never clipped into a bike before in my life.
Vulnerable. Learn today.
Vulnerable. But we're about to find out.
It's the only way you get better is that you got to try new things, all right?
Get better? It's the only way you start.
The only way to get better is to start.
All right, I'm ready.
We out here. We outside.
You taught me how to clip in.
Yeah.
And then you said, go ride around and see how it feels. But you said nothing about how to get your feet out.
I forgot about that part.
I take the run around the parking lot, and I'm coming back to y'all, and I'm excited.
And I forgot about that part.
I hit the brakes.
No.
It was like a cartoon. I just sit there and boom, just toppled over, landed on my side.
Everybody does
that.
The
whole parking lot is dying laughing.
Oh man.
And
What'd you do to this man?
It was the icebreaker. And I easily could have been like, peace.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Nah.
I don't with you anymore.
No, you did it with grace though.
But
everyone does it. It's a part of the game. And you got it out of the way early. And then you learn very quickly because they were like, look, before you stop, you got to clip out. Make sure I had to clip out. And then you ain't never been the same since.
No. Now, ever since I'm addicted. I want to get back to that story with your father, but I got to ride with your dad.
You got to ride with my dad.
And your dad chose to like look out for me.
100%.
Came into the back of the pack and he rode with me. And then when we started to do Mandeville climb, he was like, look, I know you're athletic. I can see that you're athletic. Don't let your ego get in your way here.
Yeah, he's riding. My dad's good for that.
And man. I don't know anything about the bike or how it works, but yeah, I'm fit.
Yeah, you're strong.
I'm strong. So like, you'd have these areas in the hill where I'm like, let me go and push. And I
chill.
Go ride past your dad.
He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm telling you, I know what's coming.
At one point, I think I heard him say like, don't do that.
Yo, no, my dad's good for that.
About halfway up the hill, I'm gassed, and I start doing the thing where
the weaving. Yeah,
I said, "Nah, I see you weaving now."
Yeah,
remember what I told you before? You're not supposed to do too much. That's why you're weaving now.
Love it.
And fortunately, y'all started coming back down the hill. But it was not being able to make it up the hill.
Yeah.
And also being challenged by what seems pretty simple.
Yeah.
That really sparked my curiosity. And now you got me out here on Strava.
It's a mission, dude.
And
it's the most beautiful journey.
There's something you said before before we started where you talked about driving in here from Hollywood Hills.
Yeah. And
discovering another look at Los Angeles that you didn't know. Someone reached out to me and sent me a text message the other day. They were like, yo, what's going on with you in this cycling thing? And they called me. They're like, I want to know more.
Love. And
I said, the best way that I could describe it is when I was a kid and my parents would be like, get out of the house. And I would get on my bike.
Just go.
And go. Didn't know where I was going, but it gave me this opportunity to explore. You ride up a street that you didn't know, or you run into some people, or you go out and you explore.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, that's the funnest thing to do.
It's the most meaningful sense of freedom that you have as a child.
This thing that I only saw dudes who looked like they spent too much money, dressed fairly inappropriate,
and not coordinated, not matching.
I'm uncoordinated, and I'm like, why? Why are y'all out here?
Yeah.
That's what I would say in the mornings when I'd be driving to the surf. Like, what are these dudes doing?
Yeah.
And from that day, riding with you and that crew at Red Bull, and your dad especially, with his he kicked my ass quietly.
Mm-hmm.
It made me curious, and then I just started going out by myself. You gave me enough of the keys to be like, all right, I got the stuff. Let me just start going out.
I mean, that's what those rides are for, actually. It's like it allows for us to invite people into the culture in a way that's like that ride. Like there's so many levels of the ride. It's not that long. It's like it's an out and back. So like you're going to see the field, like even if you get dropped, it's like such an inviting environment. And I think the hardest part for people with cycling is like there doesn't feel like there's a common ground or invitation like type environment to like step into it.
And that day, that ride, everyone was there. Everyone was there.
Yeah.
It was women.
Yeah.
It was dudes. It was
beginners,
pros. It was white, brown, black, and everybody else. And the pot was like the gumbo of humanity that was there at the ride. I was like, oh, this is what you're doing.
And people that do everything.
Yes.
Like tattoo artists and like bike shop owners, business owners, professional athletes. You were there. Like it's such a collage of people that the richness of conversation that you can have in that environment. It's like, that's what I want to share. For me, it's like, as a kid growing up in South Central, full circle, it's like having access to influences and people that can get you to shift the perspective that you have of what you're supposed to be. That changes everything. That changes the way a kid sees himself. It changes the way a kid conceptualizes life.
And conceptualizes possibility.
Exactly.
Of where you're allowed to go and who you get to be. And I think that sometimes when as we have these conversations where you and I are in a place where you have the platform.
Yeah.
And you're the only you. You're one of the few yous. And so now you start talking about things and the challenges to exist in a space where you've consistently had to ask for permission to be there.
Yeah, it's rough.
You don't have a choice but to step all the way into it. But I'm sure you didn't know that it was going to cause what it caused.
I kind of just take in my love for the sport and my want to get more people that think like me, act like me, think what I think is cool. I just wanted to get those people into the sport. I just wanted to introduce cycling to them. So from growing up in LA to like having this crazy transition of like living in a barn in Belgium and like where nothing's open on Sundays. The craziest culture shock of my entire life, doing that, chasing the world tour, getting to do some of these world tour races like Tour of Missouri, Tour of Qatar, doing these races and then kind of realizing like, oh, this is really dope. And it is what it is. But like, I don't know if I could get a kid that comes from where I come from to really be in this outside of the traveling, because the lifestyle's not even that dope. The traveling's cool, but like, I don't see people doing this on the highest level, doing things like I see LeBron doing or OBJ doing, or like, I don't see that. And so it's like, how am I to tell some kid that grew up in the hood to like sacrifice 30, 40, 50 hours of their week to chase this thing that they may get to travel a little bit for, pays not that great. You're not going to get a Lambo. You're not going to be able to buy your mama a house. You know what I mean? Like, there's none of that's happening. Who am I to do that? And I was like, but there are with Criterium racing, all of the physicality, the intensity, and all the stuff that we love in sports exists there. And then outside of that, the community and the people and the job opportunity and the like, just the shifting of thought, that all exists. I was like, how do I bring that to people? And I say Black people specifically because that's who I'm targeting. But man, like, Black culture shapes culture. So when Black people start doing it, everybody starts doing it. And so my mindset was kind of like, let's get this sport to a place where Black people want to start doing it. We start making it cool. We start putting our swag on it, our influencers. Now people are designing stuff. Now people are shifting the way that people are interacting with group rides and bikes and everything. And then let's see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really, really powerful that you went and chased like the top end aspiration of the dream. Mm-hmm. You found yourself in these beautiful places where I imagine, like, okay, I'm here, but you're not sitting in much reflection.
No.
Of when I say reflection, like able to see yourself.
Yeah.
And I wonder what you had to butt up against from a cycling culture place that caused you to be like, and we'll obviously get into what you founded and what Legion is, but what were the things that were happening along the way that finally caused you to do at a young age to be man, I'm starting my own thing?
It was just,
I have no choice. I have to, like, because it doesn't feel like you started your own thing out of being like,
no, not at all.
It would seem like it was just I do not have a choice.
I didn't have a choice.
So what were those things?
The first thing was the compensation was, I got at 27 or something, I got the same contract that I got at like 19. And I was like, I'm too old for this. You know what I mean? I just felt like I was too old for it, and it just wasn't working. So that was the first thing. And then to compound that, it was just like filled with a bunch of lame people, like a bunch of people that like good was good enough, and they were just making these mistakes. Respectfully, they were just making these mistakes that were easy fixes, whether that be like investing the right amount of money in marketing, understanding how to tell stories, utilizing athletes to get people inspired. They weren't doing any of that. And I was just like, okay, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm getting treated like I'm lucky to be here. They're telling me all this stuff. You know, they're not pushing to raise the level. They're not pushing to like create more. They're happy with what they have. And I'm talking about like the people within the sport, the managers, the race directors, like all these people, they're happy with what they have.
Status quo.
This is dope.
Status quo that benefits
them.
One side,
very
but
small.
Not the actual active participants.
100%. Because there's people that are genuinely doing it for the right reasons, but they have overlords, and their overlords don't necessarily give. If it's a feel good story and it's going to cost me nothing, I'm about it. If it's a feel good story and it's costing me money, I need to see what I'm getting in return. And so it just turned into this like so let me keep it on track. So 2020, bunch of sponsors come in. We want to support you. We want to get behind you. We want to do what you guys are doing. Dude, we went from like a budget of like, we went from a budget of like $150,000 to like a budget of like $500,000 in like a year. Now, I'm from the hood. I ain't never ever see no money like this. And for me, it was a very steep learning curve, but it was sick. And we went from that to like being the biggest and best teams in the country. And instead of going like, oh, I'm buying a Lambo, which I got accused of actually. Funny enough, we were doing this photo shoot and I remember this. Yeah, we did these jerseys, right? And Zwift was one of our sponsors, local bike. It's like kind of like Peloton, but not really like Peloton. And they were like, you've seen the jersey. The team has seen the jersey. We're shooting this video. We need to get them excited. They wanted to get a helicopter. I was like, we're not getting no helicopters. This is R.I.P. Kobe. We ain't getting no helicopters.
Right.
And they were like, well, what do you want to do to like get the team excited? I was like, Lambo. So people were like, you used the GoFundMe money to buy a Lambo. And I was like, I understand that in your little tiny brain, that's what a black person would do. Side note, me and you know, there are some black people that would do that. But I used that money to like, so that was a rented Lambo. I used that money to like create opportunity. So my head was like, how do I build this business out to be sustainable? Like, we started the team. It's been successful. We have all this support from the people that just support the team from around the country. Fantastic. Now we're getting the support from sponsors because they feel guilty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about people breaking contracts and being like, we know we only owe you this much money. Here's some more.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
And like at first I thought it was like the goodness of their heart, and I was like on these calls and like breaking down to these people and being like, oh, you guys are finally listening. You know what I mean? And like,
it's interesting how that time suddenly all these brands wanted to throw money at highlighting underrepresented stories, but it was temporary.
Oh my dude.
Because it literally was like, are we done yet? Is the coast clear?
Performative.
Wait, everything's fixed. We solved racism. We solved niche spaces, having barriers for disadvantaged people to enter. We solved it all, and they turned the tap off like someone shut your water off for you not paying your bill.
That was crazy. It was crazy, especially when you get into those rooms and the conversations that you're having aren't going anywhere. I got to a point where I was like, bro, stop talking to me. Like, you're not changing anything. Stop talking to me. Like, get what you're getting out of it. Let me build what I'm getting. I'm wasting so much time on you guys. I'm not like I forgot the things that I was supposed to be doing. I forgot the things that were important to me that were actually impactful because I'm trying to please. What you guys got me in this room speaking to my face turned blue and ain't nothing changing. I was like, dude, absolutely not. I'm done. Like, don't call me.
Yeah.
Like, call somebody else. And like, literally, it's so it's so funny to watch them try to target other black people, because once they, when they're talking to someone that
this one's too smart.
He know too much. Why are you asking for the kitchen sink, bro? We gave you some soap. Just be cool, man. Hey, man, be cool. Right. You know what I mean? And I think that they're so used to people selling out. When I got in the room and I was like, yeah, I got to change this, this, and this. And like, there is no like, don't baby step it. It's something you can do overnight. Do it overnight. If you want to do it, then be about it. Stop talking.
Make actual change.
Make actual change. Stop talking about it. Man, you know how many companies in cycling got rid of their diversity departments? You know how many like companies in general? But you know how many in cycling, it hurts more to me because at home, oh, no. How much are we spending on diversity? No.
Yeah, dissolve that position.
Yeah, it's not happening overnight. We're not seeing profits overnight. No. Dissolve that. That's done. Dude, it's been crazy. As quickly as it came is as quickly as it left.
And that is across the entirety of the landscape. I've seen it in surfing. I've seen it in snowboarding.
Gaslit.
Like, we all were here just 5 minutes ago. What?
Ears perked up.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to do.
So what did that cause you to do? Because you started this brand, and now all these other, like, you started this brand. People were mad that you started the brand.
Yeah.
Then 2020, George Floyd happens. We're having this larger conversation about black and disenfranchised people, and suddenly those same people who were mad were like, how do we get down with you?
Yeah.
They come, they bring all the money, they're happy to be associated with you, but you don't change how you act. It's demonstratively black.
Yeah.
The type of content that you're making is aggressive.
Yeah.
The style of how y'all ride and the swag.
Yeah.
The swag that the team is carrying is different than anything else that's taking place. And at the same time, on the back end, there's been a cooling off.
Oh man, completely.
To brands feeling like they even need to be associated with. So I'm sure for a lot of them, they're like, yo, we have a chance to get off this train now because this is different.
Yeah, it was 100%.
So when they cleared out, what did you do?
I just kind of got back. It was hard because I had like already set up a strategy that was it was such a step up. It was so forward. It was so progressive that when some of the money got pulled from so we started Legion of Los Angeles. That was so successful. We started another team, Miami Blazers. So we have 2 professional teams. And then when that was really successful,
on Miami Blazers now.
Now he is, but at the time it was just the Miami team, and me and Corey still on the Legion team. We're still winning everything. We were winning everything. There was one race we did at the end of the year that we swept the podium for 4 days in a row. So we went 1, 2, 3 with 6 people in the race. Mind you, there's 6 people on the team. We went 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. I said, we got to do something. It's like, it's too easy. It's fun. And we were definitely the best, but it's getting a bit too easy. I said, what's best for the sport? What if we started a team and we gave opportunity to other talented riders so that we can have some competition? Not only could we have some competition, we could raise the standard of like cycling so that people that can afford a team don't just run a team even when they don't have experience. So now we're creating safer spaces for athletes. We're creating more opportunity, more competition, more story, because now it's not just Legion winning everything. It's supposed to be like Legion and the Blazers battling. That was really successful. We had control of the narrative, and we're telling these cool stories. And then so we started a third team called the Austin Outlaws, and like that was like pretty successful. That one, all of the teams got to that first step of success faster than the other one, and that was the whole plan. So when all of this is happening, now I have 3 teams, just 30 athletes plus like another 10 staff that I'm taking care of. And so people start pulling money because it's like it's so much not about diversity anymore, or the steps that I'm telling them to take or I'm pushing for it's now starting to be opposed to like their brand. And so now they're going like
your competition.
Now you're not only are you competition.
It was a cute feel good story until your competition, and you could potentially be financially.
And it was incredible.
Out of their pockets.
It was also incredible change.
you helped introduce cycling to me at a time in my life when I personally am really needing to work through and push through this, accepting this next phase of like, I'm in middle age. In my mind's eye, I was 35 yesterday. I'm going to be 53 in 3 weeks. And it's like the reality of what that is.
Yeah.
As my therapist tells me, he's like, he said, listen.
Not the therapy voice.
He said, listen, you need to start thinking about it. Have you thought of it? He never tells me what to do.
Yeah.
Says, have you thought about thinking about it from the fact that, like, yes, you once really were the definition of youth culture. Now you're the OG of youth culture. You represent what a journey through youth culture looks like, and you can be there for the next wave of folks to embody what youth culture and choosing to embody that in your lifestyle means. And I was like, yeah, I can work. And when you're trying to make sense with like of the fact that like kids are calling you Unc.
Yeah.
I'm in the lift line like, what's up, Unc? Ow! But I've had to learn how to just stop and appreciate the wild ass incredible journey that I've had. And the next half doesn't have to mean that I'm at the front row of everything anymore.
Nah.
But if I can use what I've built to help others get to the front row, then
full circle.
Then
now you're playing your part. You're playing your part.
And so now I'm so excited and like breaking through and accepting what that means and creating what the next chapter.
And you're the only person that can do it. Like you are, your experiences, your access, the things that you've been through to get to where you are, like you're the only person that can do it in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? And like that's what's so beautiful about it is that like, yeah, when you get to that point of acceptance and you like dig into that, like it's going to be great because everything else you've done has been great. So like creating the understanding around like that's power, right? That's power. And like I want to come to you when something when something happens to me within the sport or something happens to me that especially when stuff happens to me that's like outside of cycling. I call it real life. That's in real life. You're like one of the first people I think of. Like, I wonder what Selema thinks about this, or if he's dealt with something like this. And you could like just so much that you have to give back, especially to someone like me. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're getting to a place where you're like, okay, cool. Like everything that I've done before this, it was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And now I'm in a place where I can make someone like Zeb's life, 5 steps shorter because I seen it already.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And that's what I feel like I'm here to do, man. So thank you. You said something at the beginning of this conversation, and I want to use it to maybe put a period on our conversation. You started riding and you made this departure from basketball and football and these things and riding a bike to hopefully catch your dad's eye. Mm-hmm. When I say catch his eye, being in relationship, being seen by your parent, is a especially by your dad as a son. It's a very powerful thing. And you got to be brave to try and chase that. And you decided to chase that through his thing. Yeah. Cycling. Full circle.
I loved it though, man. I've been rebellious my whole life.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have both of my parents. I love cycling. Like one of my core memories, the first memories I have. My first memory I had was being on my uncle's motorcycle in Belize. And that's crazy because my mom was like, how would you even remember that? Mm. One of my second memories is like, I remember being in like the second grade and my parents had this navy blue Mazda with a red pinstripe on it. And I remember one day they picked me up from school and it had a 5-speed Pacifica mountain bike on the back of it. And I'm the only one that's my height. And I said, that's my bike. It's the first bike I've ever had. I'll never forget that bike. I love bikes. I've always loved bikes, from the first BMX dyno that I had that was sky blue with the white tires, to that Pacifica mountain bike, to the first road bike I ever got. It's like I've always loved it, and I think it's in the blood too, man. Like, my dad was a cyclist for all of his life. My mom wasn't a cyclist, but she comes from a lineage of people that have won that race in Belize that I was talking about earlier. They won it on multiple occasions. I have uncle that have won that race 3 times, 2 times, 4 times. One of my uncles hold the record for the most times ever win, which I'm gonna break. I have 2. I need 2 more. And so it's like, cycling was the traveling, the people, the influence, the freedom. It was like a perfect storm. You know what I mean? And like, while it built this incredible relationship with my dad till this day. I love my dad so much. I love my parents. Cycling, what it gave to me and how it transformed the way that I see opportunity in the world. Yeah, like, I was never going to get that in another sport.
That's dope, man. And I love that it was that thinking that you were just going to get this relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
That gave you everything else.
Oh, well, yeah. It was fun. Dude, I started cycling. I started riding. And my dad started spending so much time with me. It's like the relationship that you imagine you want with your dad. I don't know. I don't know how many people can relate to this, but like, my dad would work his ass off, and then he would enjoy his hobbies. And like, there was like a little bit of time left for me and like my family, or my brothers. Like, we would go like every other, like, let's say once a month, we would go do something like a go-kart track or a park, or like my parents would make time for us, but I wasn't like shooting with my dad. We weren't talking about anything. I literally asked my mom one time, I said, how does this man have friends? I said, I can't stand his ass. And my mom just laughed. And it was because it's my dad. And when I got on the bike, I remember the first nationals that he took me to was in College Station, Texas. Man, that was everything. That was everything to me. I remember that nationals was so hard. I think I was like 6. I was just off the podium. There's 5 people get on the podium. I was 6 that year. And my dad was like so proud. And I was like, all right, but I didn't win. And he was like, yeah, we'll get to that. And like, here we are now.
Dope, man. I hope I get to ride with him again.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through, Lee.
I appreciate you, my boy.
What'd you bring in the?
I got the goodies. All right, so we're working with this company, ASOS. They're from Switzerland, but they're really cool. They are the highest quality of clothing, and so in honor of you putting in the miles, I brought you some goodies.
What?
So, Boss Collection, right? Little Boss Collection jersey. One of my favorite jerseys of this year. Super dope. And then the matching, Boss on the back, the nice print on the front, the bands in the arm, beautiful.
Ooh.
The bibs to match it, which has a reflective Boss on the leg.
What?
So you can be seen. Because we want you to be seen out here. You know what I mean? Those are really comfortable. Premium bibs.
Middle-aged man in Lycra.
100%. Yeah, we got to do it. If you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Look at this, though.
Yeah.
They're going to be so mad at me. My favorite is when I'm at a stop sign. And people are just like inspecting my
they're like trying to make sure you're real.
They're just like, how? They're like, there's no, that we're looking for ways to indict him, but he's so
valid,
legit. Like the level of validity that this man is riding with, they don't know that I've only been here for 5 minutes. So these are amazing.
Matching socks, because you got to pull it all together.
What?
Socks, bands match the arm. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Those are the most comfortable socks I have. And then last but not least, we got the honorary Legion boys. Got that baby blue.
This is the new Legion jersey.
Yeah, it's a new Legion jersey, slate blue. And it's dope. Like we talked about doing stuff outside of the box. Like ASOS doesn't ever put their logo in a color. So on the top, on the shoulder, collarbone area,
right, the
logo is in that lime green.
Yeah.
They don't do that. So
they do now.
This exactly.
Great. And you got LA map.
You know what? That was inspired by.
It literally says Inglewood and Compton.
Yeah, it says Inglewood
on this jersey.
100%. That is actually a map that I had made in Illustrator, just having fun. I didn't think I was going to use it, but that's actually a map that I had made of the city, and it just like highlights a lot of the places that I've been. I got inspired by that.
Where you come from?
And where I come from. So I got inspired by that because I went to see the Jean-Michel Basquiat exhibit in downtown LA, and there was a map in there of like all the places that he would hang out in when he was in LA and when he was in New York. And I was just like, that's amazing.
They're going to be so mad at me.
Yeah, that's encouragement. And I got a new helmet for you too. So
really?
It matches that.
Come on.
Yeah. Gotta keep you fresh.
Yo.
Keep you fresh.
Let's go on another ride.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, easy.
Thank you, Justin Williams.